music. Something everybody has experienced in their life, besides deaf people. But they're not listening to this video right now, so they don't care. Have you ever listened to a song and got goosebumps? You felt a little chilly, got a little teary-eyed. I have. I'm sure you have too. Music's kind of weird like that. It messes with your brain a little bit, and it tells you stuff you probably didn't think of before. Music can literally change your brain chemistry, which is kind of insane. So today, we're going to be taking a deep dive into the psychology of music. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and let's get into the video. Now, if you're like me, you don't like to read, which is why you're watching this video. Because of course, if you wanted to learn about the psychology of music, you could literally just look it up and there's an essay or article written somewhere that explains all of this to you. But you don't want to read all that crap. So I'm going to tell you about it so that you don't have to go and read about it. Sound good? Now, why do we listen to sad music when we're sad? Why do we listen to heavy metal in the gym? Why do we listen to upbeat music when we're happy? And what makes these types of music specific to a certain type of emotion? Now, one of the ways music generates emotions in human beings is through what's called tension and resolution, which basically means the brain is trying to process and figure out what is happening next in the music, and it tries to predict and anticipate what the music is going to do. And so with something like rock music, the brain doesn't really know what's going to happen next because rock music is so out there, in your face, changing constantly. The vocals are changing, the instruments are changing, and it's just all over the place. The brain can't anticipate and predict what's going to happen next. And when it does that, it sort of violates the brain chemistry by not being able to anticipate what's going to happen next. So when it does that, the brain kind of goes into a fight or flight mode because it doesn't know what's going on with the music that you're listening to. So in the gym, for instance, if you're about to hit bench and you have rock music playing in your ears, the brain don't know what's going to happen next with the music, goes into fight or flight, and most of the time with your brain, it's fight, and so, boom, you're pumping iron. But sometimes, rock music doesn't work for some people because they don't have the fight of the fight or flight. And so, when you hear that, your brain goes into flight, and it doesn't really do nothing. It doesn't help you bench press more or do anything in the gym, really. That's why some people just don't listen to rock music in the gym. It just doesn't work for them. Same thing with upbeat and, I would guess, happy music is the opposite of that, basically. With those types of music, you kind of expect what's going to happen next, and your brain predicts that, anticipates that, and so when it's fulfilled, and the music does what you think it's going to do, and what the brain wants the music to do, and the music actually does that, boom, the brain likes it. And so it makes you happy because it did what it was supposed to. Now another part is the brain is kind of weird. We all know this. So when we hear music that we like, that we enjoy, our favorite song, when we hear it, our brain releases what is literally opioids. Now, when you think opioids, you think of drugs. Yes, that is a type of drug. But in this case, opioids are a good thing. Opioids are the body's natural pain relievers. So basically, when we take opioids as the actual drug into our body, it obviously relieves pain. But we have opioids already inside our body. And hearing music that we like naturally releases the opioids into our body. Therefore, it relieves the pain. So hearing our favorite song literally can reduce so much pain that we are in, which is kind of crazy because literally it's just us hearing instruments and people singing. But you cannot tell me that you haven't heard your favorite song or heard a song that you absolutely love and you just feel good. You just feel no pain, you're just having a good time. And that's the opioids being released into your body. Kinda nuts, but it's the truth. Another thing that music can do to your brain is it can help relieve stress, specifically when you listen to relaxing music, which makes sense. So when we get stressed, our body releases something called cortisol. It's basically this hormone that just, when we get stressed, it just releases a bunch of it and it just makes us more and more stressed. It is the stress hormone. And when we listen to relaxing music, what our body does is it lowers the cortisol levels that are being released and it calms us down. So listen to relaxing music. It works. Like, depending on the music that you find relaxing is going to differ the results of the cortisol being released. But for the most part, if you listen to actual, like, relaxing music that most people would call relaxing, it's going to help reduce your stress. Another way that the brain uses music is to restore memory, actually. Now, there's not a specific, I would say, like, reason for this. Like, there is a reason, but, like, the actual, like, neurological way that the brain does this, I'm not 100% sure. I don't want to do that much research because I've already done a little bit. So basically, people with memory loss, they did a study where they played different types of music and it literally brought their memory back by hearing certain types of music. The brain correlates certain memories with certain music. I'm sure you've been walking around town and have heard a certain song and you're like, oh my gosh, that reminds me of this one time when I did this one thing. That happens with everything. The brain literally takes music and goes, this memory is tied with this music. When you hear this music, you're going to think of this memory. And so when people with memory loss can't remember actual, like, circumstances and things that happened, hearing the music that correlates with that memory can trigger the brain to remember what they forgot, which is kind of insane. Now let's talk a little bit about sad music. So with what I talked about before, you would think that if I listened to sad music, then it's gonna make me more sad, right? Like, I'm sad, the music's sad, it's just gonna compound and make me more sad, right? Well, sometimes, but a lot of times, it does the opposite. So when you hear sad music, or see a sad movie, or read a sad book, your body releases hormones called prolactin and oxytocin. Prolactin can help alleviate mental pain related to a loss of some kind, and then oxytocin is apparently the love hormone. So these hormones are released when you hear sad music, and they help cope with loss or pain. Sad music also helps because it creates connections and it makes you feel like you're not alone because other people are experiencing the same thing you are and feeling the same emotions that you are, and it gives us a connection that I'm not the only one dealing with this, that there are other people out in the world that are experiencing and feeling the exact same thing as me. It validates your feelings and it can provide a sense of comfort to what you're feeling because you know that you're not alone. And yes, it can, in some instances, make you more sad. Just, it all depends on what you're experiencing and what song you're listening to. Because obviously, if your dog just died and you're listening to a song about dogs, like, obviously it's going to make you more sad. But, like, if you just had a bad day and, like, you're listening to a song about someone that just went through a breakup or something like that, you know, it's probably going to be a little nicer to hear some sad music that you can kind of relate to, and you know that you're not alone. Everybody has bad days. Like, it's a normal human thing. So it can help in that way too. And the last thing that I'll talk about with sad music is that when you are sad, or maybe when you're not sad, and you hear a song that you associated with a certain person or a certain thing that made you sad at some point in your life. Say it's a song that you and your ex loved and you two are no longer together, and you hear that song, you're going to be sad because you have that emotional connection to the song and it brings back those memories with that person. And so obviously you're going to be overcome by emotion and sadness because you have that connection to the song and to that person. And the same with, say, a place that you went and you wish you were there but you're not there anymore. Same with an artist that you loved that tragically passed away and you can't listen to their music anymore because it just makes you sad because you had such a connection with that person and their music that now that they're gone, it's hard to listen to their music anymore. And this is even more prevalent in live music. Not just sad music, but just live music in general. So live music just creates a significantly higher emotional activity level than non-live music, like recorded music that you're just listening to on your phone. If you were at a concert listening to your favorite song live, that is going to invoke so much more emotion than if you're just sitting in your room alone listening to that song. Not only is that connection so much more with you and the artist, which you might not think that like the artist knows who I am, and they don't, sorry, but the connection that they are having with you on a emotional level invokes so much more emotional activity in your brain and creates so much more dopamine that it's crazy. This isn't even mentioning the psychology with the crowd, because if you are experiencing something with 10,000 other people and they are feeling the exact same emotions as you or something close to that of what you're feeling, it's just, you feel it. I've never been to a concert, sadly, but I can just imagine if I went to my favorite artist concert and we are all singing the lyrics to one of my favorite songs, how happy and just overcome with emotions that I would be, let alone everybody else in the crowd feeling the exact same emotions as you. It's amazing. Like the next time that you're at a concert, just look around at people that are singing the lyrics and whatever. They look exactly the same as you do. They're singing their heart out. They are jumping around. They have their hands in the air, just like you do. They are feeling exactly how you are feeling. And the connection that you have through the music, through that singer singing you, specifically this crowd, the music that you love, the emotional and brain activity that is going on is just more than you probably realize is happening. I hope you enjoyed this little deep dive on music psychology. If you want me to make any more videos like this, please let me know and I'll get right to it. But if you like the video, please like and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.